Hello and welcome to week 4 of SimpleVids about books. Today I'm talking about the Time Magazine's top 100 novels of a very specific time set. It's from 1923 when they opened the magazine to 2005 when they published the list. So it's a very spot on little list, but hey, it's good. But reading lists, that's what my real topic is today. Why have them? Why use them? Do you have one? I definitely have one. I just told you about it in the intro. I'll answer the basic, who, what, where, when, why questions for it. So I'm pretending you're here with me. So ask me the questions out loud if you want to. So ask me why I'm reading the list. Why are you reading the list? I heard about the list and thought, I trust the Times Magazine reputation. I guess that they wouldn't just put out 100 books of whatever. And I had a look at it. And I'd already read 9 books on the list. So I thought, well, what's another 91 books? Not only out of personal interest, but also to self-educate myself, to further educate myself by reading. And if you can hear that, it started raining. Oh well, okay. Now ask me how I read the list. How do you read the list? Well, it depends on your time of life and what you're doing. I think I first came upon this list in 2007. You read a list like you read anything, but you just sort of have an order to the books you're reading, and I suppose you have to dedicate time to putting it aside and doing it. It's like having a hobby. So if you went and did yoga, you would have to go every single week and, make sure you dedicate to it. Otherwise you do it once or twice, give up, and forget you ever tried yoga. It's the same with reading books. So I would set aside at least half an hour to an hour every night for reading. And, at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I try to turn off all my social media and then grab a book and read that. After half an hour of that, you find your mind's a lot quieter and you can go to sleep if you have that luxury. Of the books read, and there's a bug attacking me, excuse me. I've read about 51 of the books, I think now. But it's a funny list. Alright, so now you might ask me, where did this come from? Who made it up? Well, go and ask me, where did the list come from? Time Magazine published it. They're an American company. And they had 2 professional reader-writers on their staff who went off and made a list and checked each other's working and read them and reread them and, sort of discussed the whole thing. So the list is presented in alphabetical order, and they haven't ranked the books. I think this is the better way to provide a list of 100 books of whatever quality, because it doesn't put them automatically under one another before you've even read them. And there has been updates to the list, seeing it is now 15, 16 years old. It came out originally in 2005. So especially with the digital age we're in now, it's only too easy for them to update the article because it's a digital article on the website. You could go in and just make mention of the previous 15 years worth of novels, of good ones that have definitely deserve a place in the list, and then other books that, should go away or get ripped up after you finish reading them. Things like that. It's a list of 100 novels. None of them are easy. Some of them are very short and very, very rewarding, which is great to see with The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie. That was a very good one. But then there's Play It As It Lays by Joan Didion, who passed away recently. It might be a good book, but I didn't get much from it. I would reread it to see what I missed, but I kind of just blitzed through that one. And there is, of course, controversial choices like Naked Lunch. I don't suggest you read that. Or Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I had no idea what it was about, even though it was by Judy Blume, who is a child author. I thought it was about a Mexican immigrant coming to America and coming to terms with her adapting. And so she's praying like, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. And instead, it's about a little girl going through puberty. So I still bought it. It's on the list. When I was buying it at Dimmix, I got a very weird look from the cashier, but okay, what would you expect? Has it been worthwhile reading the list? I'm definitely, absolutely. I've read a lot more books out there that I would never have approached. Books purely good for the literature point of view, something like The French Lieutenant's Woman, very well written, even though it's just the oldie time period drama. Or something else like Possession, which is a fantastically told 2-part story, because it's in the modern day when a university has discovered love letters between 2 old writers, like 50 and 60 years past since dead, who actually had an affair. And so you get to read the letters, which is the sub-story within the big story. You get the current day love story between the old people, or you get the modern day story where they're arguing over the rights of who owns the letters, who owns the content, all that sort of jazz, blah blah blah. Do I recommend the list to everybody out there? No. If you're not a big reader already, then you're not going to look at a list of 100 books and go, yeah, I can snap that off by summer. If you're interested in reading a much wider range of books than you're used to, then absolutely start a list or find your own list. It doesn't have to be the times 100. It's worked for me. There's books on it I think I'll skip because they are very long, and I heard that they are just long. It's a long book. So that would be Gravity's Rainbow. I don't get the hype over Thomas Pynchon yet. I don't think I will. Infinite Jest, which might be the longest book on it. And then Gone with the Wind is very long. It's basically 4 period books all stapled together. That's how Margaret Mitchell wrote it. But it's long, and if you're not getting into it, then it's going to be a long slog. And I think a lot of the books come down to that. One thing that the list has taught me is definitely don't read something you're not actually interested in reading. Because I will, dedicate myself to writing, and no matter what, I will read through this book. It pulls your energy apart. It shows you on the ground that you've got no energy left for reading. And then you think, well, I guess there is the internet for entertainment, or the video game machine, or look, my toes need cutting. No, I definitely recommend lists, and it is super easy today. The internet is just littered with lists. So you could go and find the DMX 101 best books, which is voted for by people who buy books. There's the Time 100 list I've just mentioned. You can type in the top 100 sci-fi books. You can type in the top 100 fantasy books, and there will be lists released by everybody all over the place. Look up a list. If you want a shorter list, type 20. If you want a medium list, type 50. But it's not that hard to look for a list, find one that you actually enjoy, and then begin reading that. Or make up your own list entirely. I make up 12 books every year, and I try to read them. But yeah, definitely reading lists help me to read consistently, and for different reasons than just I want to read more of X. For example, I want to read everything by Philip K. Dick, and even though that's a listing of books, it's not really a list anybody made. It's just his, bookography, so to say. But yeah, and I don't have a book with me, so I'm just going to pretend to read one for the outro. You ready? Ready? Hi, I'm Moriarty. What list are you reading? Oh, and I'm a bit sick, so that's why this week is very low quality and only about 5 minutes long. I'm sure you don't mind after the 14 and 17 minutes much longer ones. Sorry. I've also got my book out for sale, The Full Life of a Robot. It's a science fiction drama that looks at a very simple philosophical question. What would happen if you put a robot in a very human situation? That's available now. There's a link down the bottom. And then book 2 is coming out very soon, titled A Machine of Blood. That's got a special pre-sale price going right now until the 31st of January, when it will be available wide for everybody. Links to that in the bottom as well. Thank you again.